Welcome to day 2 of our forum on violence prevention and addressing the social and cultural norms that underlie the acceptance of violence. We're going to get started, so I'm going to ask that our panel representatives come up. I'll just give a brief recap over yesterday's event, and I want to welcome all of our speakers and participants again today for day 2 of activities, and also those of us who are on the webcast. Again, just a friendly reminder that we will be accepting questions and comments through the webcast, and so please, those of you who are participating virtually, feel free to send that information to us. I'll just provide a few brief comments. Evelyn and I pulled a few thoughts together with Louise over some of our takeaways, references of what was discussed yesterday, and Evelyn, my co-chair, can chime in if I've missed anything. But yesterday we talked a lot about social and cultural norms, a lot of range of definitions, recognizing the very complex nature of social norms and cross-sector nature, some of the complexities of transformation at the community level, generational influences, and also how social norms do change over generations. We also wanted to just recognize, to some extent, how limited 2 days is to really dive deep into these subjects. There's so much more that we can be talking about when it comes to social norms. So we recognize, to some extent, we are very much scratching the surface, but really getting into some rich and interesting subject matters. Just a couple of overarching, again, cross-sector themes that kind of came through. There was some interesting cross-sector exchanges and discussions. The importance of engaging men and boys in violence prevention seemed to be a bit of a theme throughout. It was discussed by a number of our panelists in the context of the work that they were doing. As well, again, cross-generational change and exchange was also discussed in different capacities. And then how do we build bridges, safe passages, community connections to talk about differences and to promote change and to kind of dive into what can be scary spaces when we're talking about fundamental change in what is perhaps the social norms around us, and how brave that is for some people to kind of dive into those different places. Lunchtime, we talked, I think most people ended up talking about different examples from those who were at the tables on the work that they were doing, and different interventions, approaches to social norm change, and collaborations in a cross-sectoral fashion. That gave us, I think, a neat opportunity to hear from some different participants who may not be presenters, and so we got to learn some new and interesting things that were going on. Then we went into kind of some macro messaging and communications in the media and how that shapes our larger dialogue and influences social norms. The power of language and cultural context, and how media can either shape potentially negatively or positively social norm change. I was personally thought that it was interesting, the reference in the newspaper about how we talk about, underage sex versus statutory rape, and what message that really gives us. Are we afraid of talking about rape? Are we kind of making it more of a soft pedal in the media space? And even our commentary on child early enforced marriage, wanting to talk about that in the context of rape as well from underage individuals. I thought those were interesting comments. Then we went into kind of the power of religion to shape social norms, and really how fundamental that is in all of our lives and societies in some fashion. It has formed norms, it forms institutions, it forms the basis of many of our laws. Even in quote-unquote secular societies, really is kind of fundamental in many places, in formal and informal structures. And the importance of finding commonalities even when the messages might be different, interpreting certain texts and scriptures. It was mentioned how you can pull out different meanings there. And then we close with some very rich community-based program examples from Tostan and from Promundo. Promundo on engaging men and boys, and Tostan on their community-based model. which had a tangential discussion on research and the importance of research and different people's thoughts on that. So it's kind of where we were with day one, and thank you all for your participations yesterday, and we'll look forward to a rich discussion again today, and so I'll pass it over to Elizabeth, who's going to be leading our next panel. Thank you.